Yeah. Sometimes I don't like the echo's not too bad, but when you clap, it's just like it's just everywhere.
It makes sense.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Screen Weens. Hopefully you can hear us a little better this time, because last week was a little scary.
Yeah,
I had to edit the video a couple of times. And the one that's out is pretty bad still, but it's at least salvageable.
We're trying here.
We're trying.
This is new to us.
It'd be better if we had, like, I guess eventually we should get arms so that we can swing out and be right next to my mouth. But yeah, it's me and Thomas.
Yeah.
Talking about movies. Naked. Below the waist.
Yeah,
You'll never know.
Yeah.
Except I'll probably stand up sometimes in the podcast. So.
Yeah, you gotta show them your cool pants that you're not wearing.
My cool pants. My epic pants.
Yes.
So, any news, Thomas? What's up? What's up with you?
I had some job interviews this week. Been doing that. Been working on the werewolf videos. Been playing Among Us and Call of Duty with some friends.
Among Us. I've heard great things about the game. I have not played it.
It's pretty fun.
Playing board games instead, because I'm an elite gamer.
Let's see. Watched some horror movies. I watched this one called The Lodge from 2019.
I'd heard good things about it. Was it any good?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I had a friend recommend it to me, so I checked it out. And, I thought it was a pretty effective horror movie. I thought it was going one direction, and then it kind of swung a different way. So I was like, oh, fuck, okay.
It subverted my expectations.
Yeah, so I give it credit for that.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I watched the Ginger Snaps trilogy.
Yeah, you enjoyed them more than I thought you would.
Yeah.
I hate the first one, like, a lot.
I saw you gave it the lowest rating you could possibly give it.
I really did not like that movie, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something about 2000s horror that just really fucking irks me, I guess. But were the sequels any good? Pretty bad?
The second one had its moments. Mm-hmm. But and
that was Ginger Snaps 2, and then the third one was Ginger Snaps Back, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the second one has its moments. It basically follows Bridget in, she goes to rehab because she's, fucking injecting wolfsbane into her all the time.
Yeah. Like you do.
Yeah, like you do. And, that one was okay. It's kind of like your basic, idea for a horror sequel.
Yeah.
In some sort of mental ward or rehabilitation center. It's like a combination of the two. It's got this huge abandoned section of the hospital. But towards the last few minutes of that movie, they went a direction I wasn't super crazy about. And then with the third one, they were like, all right, we've really got nowhere left to go. So we're just gonna go to the past. And it's like...
Is it like a weird prequel thing? Or?
Yeah, it's basically the two characters if they existed in the late 19th century.
Oh, so it's like an AU pretty much.
Yeah, essentially. I think it's supposed to be a canon prequel. This is
or their ancestors or something like that?
Whether it's their ancestors or their incarnations before who they were in the first Ginger Snaps movie. So it's the
Sounds
idea.
dumb.
Yeah. It wasn't very good. The last few minutes were pretty entertaining, though.
If it was in the future instead.
Yeah. Future werewolf, cyber wolf or something. I don't know. Is that a thing? I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up with Laser Wolf from Fiddler on the Roof.
Ah. Good old Laser Wolf. Wonder how he's doing.
Probably nothing good. Probably trying to, con some poor family into marrying their daughter.
Yeah. Like you do.
Well, yeah, like you do. Tradition.
Reminds me of one of the characters we'll be talking about today. Whoa.
Alright, speaking of which, what order do you want to go? Do you want to go order of release, or do you want to go chronological order?
Let's go order of release.
Okay.
Because that's what we do for pretty much every other movie. Let's just do that. That's fine.
Okay.
I was thinking about it, but yeah, order of release is fine. I watched them in chronological order.
So did I. So I was like, I forgot. Well, I guess
we'll
talk about.
We'll talk about it when we... Actually, I'll talk about it now. Remember last week when I said I'd never seen Dumb and Dumberer?
I looked on your...
I'd seen it less than a year ago. I just wiped it from my memory. I'm like, no. And then as soon as I started watching, I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
So that's...
So I looked at your letterbox, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'd seen it. That was actually the one of the three that I had seen the nearest, because I saw 2 in theaters, and I've seen 1 multiple times, just over the years.
Same.
But it's been at least 4 years, probably.
I watched Dumb and Dumberer a lot as a kid, because I had it on VHS with the first one, so those were the 2 I watched as a kid.
Did Dumb and Dumberer come out on VHS?
Yeah. I think it's from, 2003? Yeah.
I guess that's the very, end of the VHS cycle kind of thing.
Yeah. You're pushing pretty close to it, so... Yeah, I had that movie on VHS, watched it a lot, and, just watched it for the first time in, at least 15 years, probably.
And it was something.
It was great. I loved it.
Great.
It was the best movie ever.
Yeah, I love it.
My favorite part is the one character who they just keep calling Ching Chong the entire fucking movie.
Yeah, that's really fun. It didn't just make me uncomfortable.
No, not at all.
So I've been watching some stuff this week. I watched 2 Isabelle Huppert films.
Okay.
You know her? She's a famous French actress.
She was in that
Greta.
Yeah. And she's also in The Piano Teacher, isn't she?
Yeah, I watched The Piano Teacher.
Oh, nice. How was it?
I really, really enjoyed it. That was my first Michael Haneke, or whatever his name is, however you pronounce it. That was my first film from him, and my first Isabelle Huppert film, and it was really good. I really, really enjoyed it. And then I watched another movie right after called Elle, which was by Paul Verhoeven, or whatever his name is, the guy who did RoboCop. And that was one of the last films he's done in 2016 with her again. And it kind of follows similar themes in it. But that was also really good. I watched 2 really, really good movies. And I almost watched a 3rd movie from her. But I was just like, no, I have to go watch shitty movies instead.
Yeah, I feel it.
But before that, I did get a chance to rewatch School of Rock. Because I was feeling in a mood, and I'm like, I need something to cheer me up. So I watched School of Rock, and that's always...
The Nick Show, right?
No. The Broadway music, no. No, I watched the movie with Jackathy Blackathy, and it was just amazing. I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
And I watched...
Hold on. Speaking of that movie, what's her name? Joan Cusack is in Ginger Snaps 2.
Oh, is she good in it?
Yeah, she's all right. She's not in it a whole lot. So is Rampage guy. Can't remember his name.
Uwe Boll?
Brendan something?
I don't remember his name. He's in barely anything.
Yeah. He's in Freddy vs. Jason, which coincidentally we will not be watching.
Well, we might. I might do it anyway.
Oh, well, if you do, let me know, and then I'll watch it and we can talk about it.
Just watch the remake, too. Let's watch all 9.
I will if you want to. I'm not above it.
I mean, I have some time off, so theoretically we could. Spoiler alert, next week we're going to be talking about, not a director, but we're going to be talking about the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
Yep.
That's still the one we're talking about, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for it, because I've seen the first one a really long time ago. I remember really enjoying it. But
yeah. It's been at least since early high school since I've seen any of them, but the ones I recall thinking are pretty good are 1, 3, and 7. Yep. Which is New Nightmare.
And the 6 is it called The Final Check?
Yeah, Freddy's Dead. The Final Nightmare. Yeah, that
one's really
that
bad,
one,
right?
Even when I was a kid, I didn't really like that one. I think it's better than 4 and 5 for sure, but it's still got a level.
So you're saying that there's going to be 3 good movies, from good to really good, and then the rest are god awful, right?
I don't know if I'd say really good for.
Oh, so good and then really, really bad.
Yeah,
good. Thank God.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that the first one was really, really good, but obviously I was a child, so...
Yeah.
We'll see.
It might hold up better than I remembered it. I still think it's a good movie.
We did watch, me and you and Pierre watched The New Guy.
I forgot
after
about
the podcast. And It was pretty bad, but there were a couple moments I laughed. There's a lot of nostalgia for the movie still, I guess.
I lied last week when I said, yeah, maybe that might be around the bar of quality. I'd say Dumb and Dumberer was like a lower bar than that movie.
I would say that was... I'm going to be honest, I think Dumb and Dumberer is much worse than the new guy.
Like, I think that Dumb and Dumberer, without getting into it, like, just kind of takes everything I hate from those, like, raunchy 2000s comedies... And is like everything I hate about it just in one film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Which is kind of how I feel about the other Dumb and Dumber movies, actually. But then but then with like little bits of, okay, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much how I feel. Podcast over.
Okay, thanks for watching. It's a quick 10-minute podcast.
But yeah.
We did finish the second Divergent movie yesterday, Insurgent, and I forgot that I had already seen it. We started watching it and I'm like, oh fuck, I've seen this movie before.
It's a reoccurring theme throughout your week.
Yeah. It was better than the first one, in my opinion. They're both really bad, but this one wasn't as boring. It was pretty boring. And then me, Hinata, and Pierre watched a horror movie last night that I'd already seen, but I do really enjoy. Well, I think it's good. Sinister. Have you seen Sinister?
I've seen the first one.
Yeah. I like the first Sinister. I think it has a lot of problems, but I think Ethan Hawke's like really good in it. And it's really sad because I think Sinister has a really good movie in it, but then it's like cheapened by like some really goofy parts.
That's pretty much how I felt. I remember feeling about it. I saw
there's some really goofy shit, and there's some bad acting besides Ethan Hawke. Like the wife, and it's really bad. But I still enjoyed it. I still had a fun time. And then, if I watched anything else this week? Oh, me and Pierre watched The Mandela Effect, which is like a horror, like thriller kind of thing about the Mandela Effect.
Okay.
It was fucking stupid.
But
the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes are so fucking funny. Like they just go fully into it, and I love it. Like if the whole movie was like that, I probably would have enjoyed it. But the vast majority of it was just kind of boring.
Have you ever heard of the movie Zombievers?
I've heard of it. I've heard it's pretty bad. But pretty funny.
Pretty bad, but Bill Burr like cameos at the very, very beginning and at the very, very end. In those
plays
two
as
scenes,
the Zombievers.
No, he plays like a trucker.
Oh, okay.
It's him and some other comedian. I can't remember who the other comedian is off the top of my head. But
Jim Gaffigan.
No. It starts with a J, though. I don't know.
Jerry Garcia.
I'm not going to look it up. But if you ever watch that movie or want a good time, watch the first couple minutes of that movie and watch the last couple. But yeah, that's kind of what that reminded me of.
John Mayer, the musician, has a cameo as well. Is that what you were thinking of?
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Me and Hinata did finish the season 3 of Bleach and start season 4.
Yeah, I saw some spoilers when I walked in.
Not really. You're probably I feel like you have no idea what the fuck was that.
Yeah. The only thing I figured that guy was going to go full good. The red-haired guy.
Yeah.
He had pretty much made that transition, but hadn't fully committed yet where I was at. So
yeah,
but pretty obvious. What's his name? Renji
Ibarra. Not even really a spoiler.
Yeah,
kind of, I guess, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to do that with franchises that are so long because it's especially even looking at my manga, be you can see his face throughout this. He's a recurring character, and he couldn't just be the villain the whole time.
It's a similar thing with One Piece. There are some Straw Hat members, one in particular, who was introduced as a villain, and I was I know, they joined the crew. I've seen some of the images from later on, just from the promotional material. But yeah.
It's promotional material can have so many just unintended spoilers just by showing characters.
Oh yeah.
They're alive.
Something Toei does with One Piece, and I'm sure they do it with other shows too, but they will straight up spoil stuff in the openings because they're all right, manga readers are probably watching this, so they'll just straight up spoil shit in the openings. Way ahead of when that shit would be revealed. It's what the fuck are you doing? But
that's why, like, usually with anime, I'm always curious. Like, I try to avoid, not necessarily the openings, but I feel like ending credit scenes for anime sometimes have spoilers in them. Both the openings and the endings do. So, especially Bleach, like, there are a couple of ending stuff that I'm like, I'm skipping this. Don't show me today. Like, just for a couple of episodes, like, when they first change over the, like, intro and ending, I'm like, oh god, wait, like, 5 episodes.
Yeah. But
yeah, and then just been playing board games and the same old.
It's not here yet, but I did buy Resistance. It should be coming in the mail soon.
The card game, the Avalon Resistance out, right?
Like Resistance, like the coup.
Like coup.
Yeah.
Could have just got that at Olympic Cards and Comics.
I could have, but I wasn't there. I was at my house when I got the whim to buy it. So
cool.
I also picked up. It's not here yet, but I picked up like the Lupin the Third Part 2 complete set with the English dub.
I thought you were saying there's a Lupin board game. I'm like, whoa.
I wish.
I should make
maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if they're at least in Japan.
Maybe.
I don't think there would be one over here. He hasn't. Lupin's been popular over here, but he's like recently gotten like much more popular.
Yeah.
But
well, let's go to questions, I guess.
Okay, let me pull up Pierre's card.
Question number 1. What is the worst title to a piece of media you have actually consumed? So specifically, what's the worst title of like anything you've consumed? Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd. No.
That's a pretty good example. Zombievers is probably another really dumb.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's really bad, but
blow my brains out.
Let's see. There are a lot of bad titles for things. Let me see if I can find any. I don't know. I usually don't care too much about like a bad title. Like a good title will stick in my head, but a bad title I'll just forget about. You know. DDoS or no?
Chooper? Bloodshack?
The Chooper. The Bloodshack is fine.
Bloodshack's whatever.
The Choopers is stupid name.
Yeah.
Fuck. This is a tough one.
Trying to like recall all the bad shit I've watched over the years and shit that has just like a bad title.
I feel like a lot of run-on sentences, a lot of ones, like specifically like with franchises that are starting, like the Mortal Instruments City of Bones.
Oh, that, like, you remember like some of those like parody movies that came out, like ripping off like the Judd Apatow comedies, like the 40-year-old virgin who like forgot Sarah Marshall, and it like goes on and it like combines like 6 of those titles. I can't remember the exact explicit name, but like that, I never watched that because I thought the title was fucking stupid. But
and it was. You're right.
Yeah.
You did it. You avoided it.
I did.
By the way, we're sponsored by Letterboxd. That's not true.
I almost thought about picking up one of their hats, but it was like $30. I'm like,
yeah, I just did because it's a pretty comfy shirt.
Looks like it.
There's cat hair all over it.
I bet.
So the cat was laying on me.
Got a black shirt with my own hair on it.
Whoa! Ooh. All right, yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of bad titles, but nothing that, like... Pierre's example was from a video game. It was Kingdom Hearts 0.8, A Fragmentary Passage. I think any Kingdom Hearts game that isn't 1, 2, or 3 could get that. Like anything with... Or not... There are things that are just like Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, that's fine. But like 2.5, 2.8, 0.8, those are stupid. 1.5, why? Yeah,
as someone who's never played a single Kingdom Hearts game, seeing like 2.5 HD Remix 2, and I'm just like, what does that mean? Yeah.
I feel like a lot of video games have bad titles.
True.
There are a lot of Final Fantasy games I'm not... Like Final Fantasy X2 or like 13. I think it's 13, 13-2, and then Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13, something like that. Those are pretty bad, too. Anything by Square. They don't know how to name things. We figured it out. Question number 2. Do you think that having unique original animated characters in animated movies is a good idea? An example of this would be something like Hatsune Miku, but instead of being a digital singer, they act in various movie or television shows. So, I guess, like, an animated character pretty much representing, like, a virtual actor or actress, and they would appear in multiple things as different characters, but they'd be the same visual representative, which at that point I'd just be like, if you watch Studio Ghibli movies, like, all the faces are the exact same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that being successful. I could see, like, a brand and, like, a following for that. It wouldn't be my cup of tea, probably. Yeah, like, I mean, I might watch, like, a couple of them and for my own opinion, but...
I feel like at that point I'd rather just see the same character in different things, not necessarily, like, just the same... If it's the same character, just in different things, like, if it's just a franchise, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because at least you could, like, explore this character that's, like, kind of shared among, like, different stories or whatever.
Even, like, different genres. Like, that'd be cool if you saw the same character, because you could get this interesting character growth. But if it's literally just, like, the same, like, actor, so it's just, like, the same voice and the same visual style, but a different character, I feel like that'd just be kind of a waste at that point, and I'd feel like I'd rather see a different character.
Yeah.
Interesting idea, though. What is your favorite fast food meal or food?
I like a quarter pounder.
Quarter pounder?
I think that's pretty good.
I was always a fan of the McChicken. I don't think the McChickens are as good as they were in, like, 2014, and I don't know why. But I used to eat them, like, all the time in high school and right after high school. And they just don't taste the same anymore.
I remember you used to be able to, like, get Chipotle on them. But then at some point they were like, no, we don't do that anymore. It's like, what, mate? It was so good.
I also am a pretty big fan of at Taco Bell. You can get shredded chicken, like, mini quesadillas. Those are fucking good. So those are probably my 2 favorites. Yeah. Thanks for the question, Mr. Pierre.
Thank you.
All right,
let me close that and open up the poster for Dumb and Dumber.
Okay. So, this was like a classic for me as a kid.
Oh, yeah, I think it's I think it's still probably viewed as a classic for most people.
That's why I think the second one is looked down upon, like, unrealistically, in my opinion, because, like, in my opinion, they're pretty similar in quality levels.
Yeah, I've got... See, my problem with the second one, and to a certain extent, Dumb and Dumber, they both kind of... More so 2 than Dumb and Dumber. It's, like, too many callbacks and too many, like, of the same thing. Like, both movies end with, like, Harry getting shot, saving the day.
Yeah.
Like, shit like that. There's always, like, that point in the middle where it's like, oh, you know, we're on a road trip with this important item to deliver to this one person, and we're gonna get there, and we're gonna fight over, like, who gets the girl. And then it results in that climax. And it's, like, the same movie, but I think the plot, at least in the original, is handled better.
Yeah.
Like, I could see, if it weren't Dumb and Dumber, I could see it being like a North by Northwest type comedy where a limo driver tries to return this, like, drug suitcase, and it would be like an actual good movie on its own, probably. But I can't say the same for Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah, I saw Dumb and Dumber 2 in theaters, and I remember enjoying it when I saw it. I know you didn't really enjoy it.
I think that each film I could cherry pick, like, little jokes here and there, or gag scenes where I'm like, all right, I like that.
I don't know if I could do that with Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber, it's a lot less. I can maybe pick, like, 2 or 3 lines.
Yeah.
Like, I think my favorite stuff from that movie is just Bob Saget's reaction to, like...
There's shit everywhere!
Not even that. Like, just the part where he's, like, calling through the window, and it's like, you got big milky tits or whatever, and he's like, why the fuck is this guy talking to you like that? Just shit like that. Like, just his straight performance along with it. It was like,
yeah, he's actually probably the best part of that movie.
Oh,
I also do think that, what is it? What's his name? The guy who played Lloyd. I think he does a pretty
I
good
think he
job.
does a good, like, impression. He's in other stuff. Like, he's in...
Eric Christian Anderson? Is that his name?
Yeah, he's in the Thing prequel, and he's also in this other movie that used to be my favorite movie when I was, like, 11 or so, called Fired Up. And I haven't watched that movie in years.
Fired Up?
Yeah, it's like him and another guy, like, go to cheerleader camp.
Oh my god! Holy fuck! Whoa!
Blast from the past.
Yeah, holy shit! There's another movie. This movie's bad, huh?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in like so many years, and I'm pretty positive I would fucking hate it now. But so I just haven't revisited it. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
One day.
You watch Fired Up 2 as well?
Me too.
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay. Good.
We can make it.
I was going to say, if they made Fired Up 2, we're going to have a Fired Up
Fired
podcast.
Up is by the director of Easy A.
Wow.
Easy A is a good movie. You seen Easy A?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good.
I think it's alright.
It's pretty good. You're wrong. Yet again.
Instead, I didn't give Ginger Snaps half a star.
The Ginger Snaps fucking sucks. I'm sorry.
I don't think it's half a star.
It's so fucking bad. I feel like it'd be a toss-up between me watching Ginger Snaps again and me watching Dumb and Dumberer again.
Really?
Yeah, I fucking hate Ginger Snaps. Which is sad because I like what Ginger Snaps is going for. I just think it fails in every regard. Maybe I was in a bad mood, though. You know?
Maybe. Like, I don't think it's, like, a fucking great movie or anything. I think it was fine, though. Like,
maybe it's just like you've been watching too many shitty werewolf movies, so you're like,
shut up. You're hitting too close to home. I've been thinking that myself recently. Like, I feel like my rating system's gotten a little off whack. So I need to watch some good movies.
Decent movies.
I need to watch some, like, Michael Haneke level
watch
shit.
fucking Piano Teacher.
I should. I want to watch that. I want to watch Amour and the White Ribbon are, like, the big three.
I really want to watch Cash.
Yeah, I want to watch pretty much all of his movies. I think it's
but then I still haven't seen
Continent is another one I want to see.
So. And then I still haven't seen Funny Games, either one.
Yeah, I've seen the American one.
Which I've heard both things. I've heard that the original's better, and I've heard that the American's one is better. It's pretty much just shot for shot, and it's him making it.
When he was making the original one, he had originally he envisioned it as, like, an English spoken movie.
Because he's like, yeah, the English people, they're fucking crazy. They do this.
Exactly.
That's them.
So, but I have the Criterion for the Austrian one, so I need to chill. Maybe we can do an original versus remake on it one day.
We could do it for October, too.
Yeah.
We're planning on probably doing mostly horror movies, so we can do that.
I sent you the Screen Weens thing in case you wanted that.
Yeah. So, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Simple little synopsis. Lady leaves a package or briefcase at the airport.
Briefcase, yeah.
Lloyd Christmas, played by Jim Carrey, picks it up. He's very dumb.
Yeah.
Is he dumb or is he dumber? We don't know.
It kind of changes with every film.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, which one is it?
Yeah. But him and Jeff Daniels go across the country to return it, and funny things ensue. I guess funny.
Some funny things.
Some funny. Meanwhile, they're being pursued by the people that were originally going to take the briefcase, which has a bunch of ransom money in it. And they accidentally kill a guy, and they make a cop drink piss, and
basically, like,
there's a sexual assault scene that's played off for laughs, and it's like, ho-ho!
Yeah, fucking, what's it called? The people who, like, were meant to receive the ransom money and sent out, like, the hitman. Everyone is like, oh, these guys must be fucking geniuses. Like, good. Who sent them? And it's just dumb coincidence from these fucking two morons who somehow managed to, like, basically Jar Jar Binks their way to success. Like, cartoon characters.
There's a Bill Murray movie I watched a while ago. What was it called? What was it?
Have a Very Murray Christmas?
Oh, The Man Who Knew Too Little. Kind of the same thing. He he's kind of a dumb guy, but he gets a present that it's supposed to be like an interactive, like, murder mystery experience kind of thing, where he's supposed to like play a secret agent, but then he accidentally like wanders into an actual like crime.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty good. It's pretty fun.
This is like an older movie?
It's 97.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of the same concept.
Yeah.
A lot of movies have done this.
Yeah, it's not super.
And Dumb and Dumber does not do it super well. that part of it. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's probably the most pasted on part. I feel like the story in general is just mostly paced on so that they can do funny bits in different locations.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel for pretty much all of the movies.
Pretty much.
It's like the story never feels like it's anything but like paper thin, which makes the characters feel pretty paper thin too. And I'm fine with just comedies being like goofy shit, but I want like some substance to a character because I think that's funnier. Like if I care more about a character or if I think they're interesting.
Yeah. I almost thought, because like towards the beginning of Dumb and Dumber, there's like this line that I thought was like, oh, that's a pretty like revealing and deep cutting line that kind of gives some insight to these characters, which is the part where like Lloyd's basically like, I'm tired of life shitting on me, this place, he's talking about getting out of there, he wants a girl. And he says something where I'm like, all right, that was a decently written line that like you could take seriously and has, some level of like commentary in there because obviously they're poor guys, they don't live up to society's standards, so they have to kind of like live in a shitty place and deal with like shitty problems like this. But it's also just then like the next scene he goes and leaves his fucking wallet in the fucking newspaper machine and it's just like, oh no, you guys are just dumb. You guys just don't know how to manage your money.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go spend this all on groceries. And he comes out, he has like...
Cowboy.
He has a ping pong paddle.
Got a bunch of like windmill things in a box.
Which that is one of the parts that I like kind of chuckle at. Just because I think most of the funny bits of this movie are...
like comedic timing things.
Comedic timing, and mostly just like... I think Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey are funny people, like in general. I think they make jokes work that should not work.
Exactly. I have a similar feeling. Like they're charismatic enough that
they can carry these shitty jokes.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, I don't remember these movies or these characters being so mean-spirited.
They're really fucking... And it's not... They're really mean to each other. Like, they're not good friends with each other, but just random people they're also mean to. And, like... Yeah, the fucking thing with the blind kid's really not funny. I don't know. I think it's really not funny.
That's one of the ones where I'm like, all right, because at that point you're buying into the fact that these guys aren't like great characters.
Yeah,
it's not
I'm fine if they're bad people, but I just don't think it's very funny either. And I'm like, what kind of blind person wouldn't know that an animal's dead? Like, it doesn't make sense. And then they brought him back, and then they just antagonized him. And then I really don't like what they did to him in the second movie, though. I'm just like, that's just. Why?
Yeah, no, they were a lot more mean-spirited in both the sequels, or the prequel and the sequel. But yeah, I don't know. Just, like, yeah, I think I was really done with this movie. Like, I had my fill. An hour in.
Yeah, I like it. And it's 2 hours long. I was hoping it was like 80 minutes long. Because I feel the Dumb and Dumber is like 85 or like
I went.
That was the saving grace of that
pushed
movie.
them all off for the whole week, thinking like, they're all 90 minutes, and then the sequels for the two that actually have Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey were both 2 hours.
They're like right below.
Oh, they don't need to be that long. They spend way too long, and like by the time they get to Aspen, I'm fed up. I had my fun.
And I don't think like anything funny happens in Aspen. Like.
Like
the shitting scene, I don't think is funny. When I was a kid, I thought that scene was hilarious.
Oh, I don't know
why.
Everything they did in the movie was hilarious when I was a kid. When he put the fucking carrot and the 2 pieces of coal down, I was like...
Thomas just died.
But, it just didn't hit. Like
I like the scene. They're in Aspen, and... I do like the scene where he's like, oh, you should take these extra pair of gloves.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was okay. I think it's kind of stupid.
I like the suits.
That's true. I like the suits. Yeah, I like the suits. I think that scene... I think the suit getting scene is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Or not like... Most of the movie didn't make me laugh out loud. All of the movie didn't make me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
But that scene gave me a little smile, a little smirk. But yeah, like Aspen didn't do anything for me. I like the scene, there's a scene when he gives up the van to get the little motor scooter. And he's like coming over the hill and he goes, ah! I laugh at that scene. Yeah. That's kind of a chuckle. It's just like most of the movie's just like a chuckle here and there, but nothing that like is long lasting of an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a shame because I used to think like the whole movie was like hilarious.
Yeah. Like another scene that I think is kind of funny and just like the initial like gag of it, not like the rest of it that ensues, but he's like, oh, you gotta like throw the salt over your shoulder, and he just chucks the entire thing back.
Yeah.
Like that's fine, but then they like, you know, obviously go into the, what's the
sea bass?
Sea bass.
Yeah, and then that sexual assault scene was really just like...
That's like...
And then his friend just laughs at him about it, like... Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I know this movie's 20 or almost 30 years old now, but I'm like, is that funny ever? I don't...
Yeah.
There are a lot of the scenes I'm just like, was this ever funny?
Yeah, it's like, oh, man. And then there's like the scene where they're like in the like hotel hot tub bath thing, and they like fucking Lloyd insinuates that Harry's gay, and he gets like really defensive about it, and I was like, chill, you two are totally gay.
Well, Lloyd is like, he always says like gay comments. Some of those like randomly make me laugh just because of like the expression that Jeff Daniels' face will have. Like they'll be walking and Jeff Daniels will be like, look at the ass on that. And he'll look over and I'm like, yeah, I bet he works out.
Yeah,
like,
that part's
that
funny.
Like there are a couple things like that. They try to recreate that in the second one.
Yeah,
but
there was one line that got me in Dumb and Dumberer that it was offensive, but it made me laugh because he was basically like, I don't remember what it was, but he's like, oh yeah, like, only fags like chicks. And it's like, oh, okay, that's so fucking stupid. Jesus Christ, but, yeah, no, yeah, I don't know, the humor of this didn't land as well for me. Like, it just did not age well for me. I didn't jive with it this time.
Yeah, me too. Like, it wasn't...
And it makes me scared because one of my favorite comedies is Kingpin, which I coincidentally haven't seen in a long time.
I think Kingpin... I've seen Kingpin in the last, 3 years. I think Kingpin holds up decently well.
I did. Yeah, I remember stuff from Kingpin, like the old lady, but... And like the wooden finger.
Also, I think the story in Kingpin's a lot more solid. Like, it's an actual, story. And I think that's what makes a lot of the things around it funny, because it's based around the story and not just,
It's Woody Harrelson and Randy Quaid in that movie.
Yeah, I think so.
You should watch Kingpin at some point.
We should.
Hopefully we'll enjoy it more.
Hopefully. Now I kind of just don't want...
Yeah,
we should just watch the rest of the Farrelly Brothers. We should watch Shallow Hal, and this is also...
Oh, they made...
Yeah, I remember liking Shallow Hal, but I saw it when I was 6, so I'm just like...
I heard... I also saw it when I was younger, and don't they, completely undo the whole point of the movie?
Yeah.
It doesn't... he, comes to the realization, I need to love her for her personality and not her size, and then at the end she becomes, thin anyway or something like that.
I don't know, probably. Farrelly Brothers are kind of tone deaf in what they're trying to say, usually.
Didn't they also do, something
Green Book?
Mary?
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. And I think they did Me, Myself, and Irene, or whatever it is.
Oh, I saw that one. I've seen most of their movies, I guess, but just haven't...
You should meet them. You should work with them. Green Book 2.
Yeah, guys, can we make Green Book 2?
Yeah. Blue Book.
There we go.
I'm blue, dabba. It'll be about that guy who made that song.
Wow.
Yeah, so... There's not a lot to say about this movie. It's not fun. It's not funny. I don't think it's very good, but it's the least obnoxious of the three, I guess. Absolutely. And it has its moments. There are moments that I like, and there are moments that I laugh at. And I do really like the chemistry between Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
And they're both funny people, and they make this movie much better than it should be.
Yeah. Apparently Jeff Daniels,
hates Jim Carrey.
No. Apparently, like, Jim Carrey had to, like, fight to cast Jeff Daniels in this movie because the studio didn't want Jeff. They wanted, like, another comedian. And they were, like, really afraid of, like, casting, I'm going to use, like, straight actor, for lack of a better term, like a straight man kind of, like, normally doesn't play in comedies. But he auditioned, and Jim Carrey was like, I really want to work with this guy. So apparently they shot, like, a chunk of the movie without even having him officially cast. Like, it was, like, test footage, but they were, like, shooting it. So, like, he was shooting the movie at risk of not even being in it, and then eventually... Like, Jim Carrey was like,
we gotta put him in.
He's it. He's Harry.
That's the guy.
So, yeah.
Intriguing.
So, I think that's fun. And, yeah, they do have good chemistry. Like, I enjoy watching them, but I wish the material was less mean-spirited. And, yeah, that's pretty much my main gripe. And,
the soundtrack's pretty bopping in this one. I think the soundtrack in this and in Dumb and Dumberer is pretty decent.
Yeah, they both.
I think 2 doesn't have a very good soundtrack.
Yeah, both the original and Dumb and Dumberer go for a they were kind of capturing, like, just using, like, popular songs from the time period that
I just like that music. So
they didn't do that for Dumb and Dumber 2, probably because, like, the music scene probably, like, shifted a lot
so much,
in the time between films that it would just be a weird tone with Dumb and Dumber. What would you?
I give this movie a 4. I didn't hate it.
That's also where I'm sitting.
Woo! Talk about Dumb and Dumberer.
Oh, okay.
When Harry Met Lloyd, or something. How Harry was
when Harry Met Lloyd.
When Harry Met Lloyd.
The poster I'm looking at spells June with 2 O's.
Good poster.
It's a great.
Does this movie go into theaters? It kind of had a lot of people in it for it to not, but it feels like a TV movie.
I think it did. I didn't see it until I hit VHS, but I think that's entirely possible that it would have been in theaters. Movies like this went into theaters in the early 2000s, so... Because...
Yeah, it made $40 million. It had a $20 million budget.
Oh, so it went positive.
Yeah.
Oh?
It's bad. It's bad. Yeah. Okay, go to the next movie. No, this movie's really, really bad. There are offensive jokes in, like, 1 and 2.
This movie...
But there's so... Like, this one's really racist, too.
No, the groundwork for this movie is offensive, because the entire premise of the movie is them basically, like, picking and making this, like, fake special ed class. Yeah. And, like, that of itself is just a pretty, like, edgy, not very funny kind of humor.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, they add a bunch of, like, racist jokes. And, like, the first one had its, like, moments. Like, there's that bit at the beginning where it's, like, he's talking to the lady from Austria, and he's like, "Good day, mate."
Yeah, but that's not, like, as bad.
Yeah.
It's not just, like, saying a whole... Because that's just an accent. And this one, they just are like, we're just gonna say ching chong ching.
Yeah, and then at the end of the movie, she's
like, I just wanted to... It's
that's
just
how
easier to pick up... I'm like, what the fuck?
And then the guy that she's been seeing throughout the movie gets on, oh, and she's like, you want me to continue doing the voice? And he's like, yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck?
Okay, I do voice for you. And it's just like,
why?
This is so fucking terrible. The only 2 things I like about this movie, Bob Saget and Shia LaBeouf. Because I thought Shia LaBeouf's character was just like, whatever. He wasn't in it enough for me to, like, dislike his character. Yeah. And he had some pretty, like, I like the bit where they're, like, initially getting him to sign up for the class. His name's, like, Lewis in it, I think.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're free.
Like, free to roam wherever you please.
And they, like, make him sign it with, like, the
whole fun.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, all right, that bit was kind of funny. And then he continues, like, because he gets, like, different mascot gigs throughout various part-time jobs throughout the movie. And every time he changes costume, I'm like, what the fuck?
How's he doing? Why is he the son?
Yeah. It's just,
Well, I didn't really like most of those, but I do kind of like... So, Harry has a imaginary friend that's a pirate named Captain Rob, and then he sees Shia LaBeouf later on after he gets into a fight, dressed as a pirate, and he's like, "You're Captain Rob, you're trying to steal my best friend," and he beats the shit out of him while he has like the costume on, and they see him the next day, and he's like... and he just runs away, and I kind of like that. That's like the one moment that I get like kind of...
There's also a part where like he like shows up at the very end when they're about to do the float. He's like, "Someone taped me to or they tied me up, and I woke up tied up, and my head was shaved." And he looks at them. He's like,
"That's my hair."
And it's just like he just gets.
And they're like throwing the scissors down.
But I think throughout most I'll consider like the Jeff Daniels, Jim Carrey as the canon films, and this as like some weird
spin-off.
AU spin-off.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't even line up with the continuity set up by the second one, where Harry was adopted by an Asian couple.
Yeah.
Where in this one he's got like a single mother.
Yeah. It's just like, what? Why?
But
they could have just made her there and she adopted. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Why would they?
Well, I like they didn't have the foresight of what the sequel would do with it. Like all those years later.
Well, I'm saying the sequel could have just they didn't need the joke that his parents were Asian.
Yeah,
they didn't need the joke where the parents were like wrong time. Like they speak in a heavy accent. He's like, "Oh, I can't understand it."
Yeah. Fucking, what's it called? Where was I going with this? Lost my train of thought.
Bad movie.
It is.
I think the main issue with this movie that makes it so bad is that a lot of the jokes do tie into the story, unlike the first one, and it's... While the first one is borderline, they're, like, making fun of them for being, like, special needs or something. This one is just like, oh yeah, they're special, so it's either people making fun of people because they're like they're on the spectrum, or people pretending to be on the spectrum. Like it's just stupid.
Yeah, I even get like offended at the thought that like these two guys are special, because they're not written like people who are special.
They're just written like they're
cartoon
dumb
characters. Yeah. Like they don't operate on real world logic. Like even the dumbest person I know wouldn't be a fraction as dumb as the characters are played to be.
Yeah.
Obviously. And that's the point. Obviously. Like a movie called Dumb and Dumber. Like the whole franchise is based off of like them being like just kind of bad people and dumb cartoon characters.
Yeah.
But
it's just like having a live action Beavis and Butthead kind of.
Exactly. But much more offensive somehow. Maybe. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen some Beavis and Butthead.
I don't know. I feel like Beavis and Butthead, for the most part, is able to do stuff that isn't too, fucking stupid for no reason.
I mean, both Harry and Lloyd and Beavis and Butthead are all pretty big perverts. Like, they're always trying to get laid. Which
isn't... It isn't as bad in the first one, but in the second one, it's just, like, kind of creepy. Like, no, not kind of... It's creepy.
Yeah. Especially since it's, like, a 22-year-old who's supposed to be,
you're 50.
either of their daughters. And it's just like...
Why? That's not funny.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this movie's just, like... There's not a lot to it. It's just... I don't like the story. The storyline just feels like any... Like, it feels like a Disney Channel original movie, or like, it feels like one of the live-action Scooby-Doo movies, like the Scooby-Doo prequel movies. They're both bad.
I saw, like, one of them on Cartoon Network when I was a kid.
But
it would have
it's
been
just
the
like,
first one.
It's just poorly acted. Like, it's really badly acted by, like, everyone. Yeah. And the script's terrible, and everything's just a nightmare in this movie.
Wow, I don't know if I got this point out earlier. It seems like in the canon films, as I was saying, Jim Carrey is like the dumber of the two. At least that's always kind of the impression I got. He's a lot more like confident, but he seems like the dumber of the two. Like if one of them is to
especially like he couldn't read in the first movie.
Yeah, if one of them is to have a touchdown with reality, it would normally be Harry.
Mm-hmm.
But in Dumb and Dumber, Harry is like the really, really dumb one.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
why they switch it up like that?
Why they switch it up like that?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't have much more to say on this. I guess there's like, yeah, none of the characters.
I don't even think talking about the story is like important because it's just the same thing.
Yeah, the principal is milking money from the school legally, and
sets up a fake special needs program
to get a check so he can bounce with the lunch lady. And there's this girl named Jessica who basically uses Harry and Lloyd throughout the movie to try to expose this plot. And they both...
Doesn't matter in the first place, though, because the FBI are, like, already onto them regardless.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, it felt like no one in this movie was, like, a good character. Like, Jessica almost seems like she's the one, because she's trying to, like, uncover this story, but she totally, like, just... You can tell that she's just like, oh, yeah, like, it's clear as day that these two are clearly both want to, like, screw her.
Yeah.
She just uses that to her advantage, and I don't think that's like a bad thing given how bad of character these guys are.
I think she's terrible fine. People. She seems like a nice enough lady.
But it's like, yeah, but when the purest character in your movie is like using people, it's just like, oh man, clearly there's something wrong going on here.
Yeah.
But
I guess Harry's mom's nice, I guess.
Yeah, but she's gonna sleep with Lloyd.
Lloyd's dad's nice.
Lloyd's dad is nice.
Who was that guy? Louis?
I don't remember the.
I think he's my favorite character.
He's in Boogie Nights and stuff. Though.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Yeah, no, I never see him like play a lead in anything, but he's always just such a good like little
Louis Guzman
side character. Okay.
I wonder if he has. I'm gonna see what he's been a lead in and watch those things. I want to see how he does as a lead. Yeah, what would you give this movie?
Yeah, I'm bouncing between a 1 and a 2.
I'm gonna give it a 1.
I think I'm also gonna give it a 1. Yeah.
Don't watch this movie. Cool, we're in sync. Let's see if we're in sync for Dumb and Dumber 2. So Dumb and Dumber 2, I kind of like the opening of this movie. It's really fucking stupid, but I think it's funny.
Yeah, I think like this movie could have not been made, and they could have done like just like that little,
just like a short
opening. Yeah, just a little short to be like, yeah, see, like the characters are reuniting, kind of like what like Wayne's World will do for SNL sometimes, where they'll like come back for a skit. It's like, you're not gonna get another movie because it would probably be bad, but here we'll give you like a 5-minute skit that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about it. I was like, yeah, that's a funny bit. I like that because it's so stupid and absurd. So for those who don't know what we're talking about, the movie opens
with Harry visiting Lloyd, and
he's basically been catatonic for like 20 years. The entirety of the time between the first movie and this one, because he brings up the lady from the first one, Mary.
You gotta go, man.
Yeah, and then
he's like, listen, I have a medical. I gotta leave.
And then he's like,
he's like, are you saying something? He's like, gotcha!
Yeah. And then him and a couple gardeners tried to pull the catheter out of his penis.
I didn't think that was funny.
No, I didn't.
But it's like, gotcha, I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's the bit that's like, yeah, that's the funny part.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I didn't think the whole catheter bit was funny, but there was a line that Harry had in there. He was like, no, the doctors only do this for the insurance. Like, I thought that
I feel like a lot of the bad jokes in this movie have like 1 or 2 like funny parts to it.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I think that the second half of the first movie is like the worst part, but I might like the second half of this movie more because I really like what they do at the convention. I think there's some really funny parts of the convention.
Yeah, there's a couple funny parts. One of I think it may be the funniest line in the whole movie, but there's a part where Felcher or whatever her name is, I can't remember the full character's name, but the mother of the
is it Fran? No. Frey?
Yeah, it's like,
I'll look it up.
Yeah. Anyway, so like she goes and she's trying to see her daughter at the convention, and she
Freda.
Freda. Yeah, Freda Felcher. Or Felcher? Is it Felcher or Felt?
Freda Felcher. Oh, are you referring to the part where she's like, listen, maybe we can find a broom closet or something?
Yeah, he's like, I didn't spend 20 years...
34 years coming out
of the closet so I can hop back into one with you. And I was like, all right, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I like that. But... yeah, like... basically, like, okay, so the premise of this one...
So, Jeff Daniels needs kidney. He goes to parents' house to try to get kidney. Parents are Asian, not his real parents. He was adopted. But he finds out...
I like how that they automatically assume, no, this would never work. It's like, just get a blood test. See if you guys are compatible still. They're human.
So then they get a piece of mail and it's like, hey, I'm pregnant. Freda's like, hey.
91 or whatever. Like, it's old.
Old. So they go to the person. They're like, we'll go find your daughter because Harry thinks it's his daughter.
Well, they go to Leakey's or whatever the fuck his name is.
First. P-Stain. It was Peter Stainer, I think. They called him, or Pete Stainer, and they called him P-Stain.
And they go to his house, and they're responsible for his death, and his parents are grieving. They sold him the motorcycle that he died on and traded for a helmet straight up. And yeah, so they leave. That'll become relevant at the very, very end of the movie, which is why I felt like bringing it up. But yeah, so basically they go to Felcher, and she reveals she gave the daughter up for adoption. So they're like, okay, well, we can go find her for you, because they're under the assumption that it's Harry's daughter. So they go, and they find their way back right where they started. They're also driving a hearse this time around.
Instead of a dog.
There's a I didn't find it funny, but I found the concept of it amusing, where they were passing the school bus and like Harry or if Lloyd like pops out of the back like a zombie. I thought like that was like...
gave me a little smirk.
Yeah, like I thought it was like the concept of it was like good, but I thought the execution just didn't land for me for whatever reason.
There was another part where they were driving the hearse and Harry was like daydreaming. And then he like gets out of his daydream. He was driving, and he sees Lloyd on the outside of the car while he's driving. He's trying to get us. Yeah. I thought that gave me a little smirk.
There was a part where Lloyd makes out with the front of a semi truck, and he's like, "It's all clean." Afterwards, I thought that was pretty funny too.
But like these things aren't funny on their own. It's just because Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey are funny. Like they made them funny.
But yeah, so basically. They make it to... is the daughter's name Penny?
Penny.
Yeah, so they make it to Penny's house, and it turns out she's got like a sick, dying dad.
Who's like a super genius scientist, man.
Yeah, and he's being poisoned by his wife and Pool Boy? What the fuck?
Yeah, Pool Boy.
Okay. Played by Rob McEllergy or whatever his name is.
McGilligabler.
He's like... he's in a bunch of stuff. He's in like Step Brothers.
His name's Rob Riggle.
I started like blending it with the guy from It's Always Sunny who plays Mac.
Yeah.
Rob.
He looks like a Rob Riggle.
Yeah.
He looks like a fake person to me. You know, like he doesn't look real.
He looks like. Yeah, I get that sentiment. Like he looks like a very stereotypical depiction of like what a man would look like in like the 50s or something. Very like chiseled.
It makes me kind of scared.
I feel that. I don't get him mixed up with Patrick Warburton, but I think he looks a little bit like
I get that.
So anyway, so yeah, they go there and it turns out that
mom they're trying to poison the dad.
Yeah.
But the dad wanted to give a package to the leader of the convention, and the Penny forgot it. So then Harry and Lloyd decide to take it, and they take Rob Riggle with them.
Yeah, because apparently the package is like
worth billions
of dollars.
So they take the package and they go on a road trip, and they annoy Rob Riggle, and
he's like, "All right, I'm gonna like." Pour slushies down their pants, and then they get him back by lighting him on fire.
But almost exploding.
And then he's like, all right,
I'm going to kill them.
And then he like blows a firework up in the car, which causes them to like stop immediately and get out. But they stop on some train tracks.
So he gets out to shoot them and they get hit by a train.
Yep. And yeah, so...
And then Rob Riggle is replaced by Bob Biggle, his brother.
Same guy playing his brother, who was like special ops or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, so...
But it's the same concept of the first movie. It's like, they're being chased by these people that want the money.
That's the same movie.
But this time they're going to find the daughter. And Lloyd wants to fuck her. And it's really creepy.
Yeah, it is. And then it gets to a point where it's like, he realizes, he's like, I think this is my daughter. And then he gets super creeped out. He's like, "Ooh." And then basically it all comes to a head at the convention because Rob and Andrea from The Walking Dead, I don't know the actor's name, I'm sorry.
They stop them with guns and they're like, give us the package. They open the package, it's cupcakes.
And
Lloyd walks in with a kidney.
Yeah.
He has his kidney in a cooler.
Well, he doesn't walk in with a kidney. He walks in with a
pork chop.
Yeah.
But a freezer that supposedly has his kidney in it. Turns out they just stole his kidney.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm
going to have to be very vocal with them on my
follow-up on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that it was all a trap again and they didn't really need to do anything.
Just like the first movie.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's like... No, they probably would have gotten the guys in the first movie without them.
But at least it feels like they have somewhat of an impact on what happened.
Yeah. Like, there's some level of, like, establishment that makes it feel like, they needed to use Harry at that point in the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas in here, it's like, no, you guys could have just come into that bathroom, like, 2 to 10 seconds earlier before Harry gets shot after they walk in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
Because she grabs her spare gun. She has like 2 guns. She grabs another gun and shoots him.
Yeah.
Or she tries to shoot Penny, but he jumps ahead in front of her.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it's neither of their kids, and then they go home and they push these 2 ladies into a bush.
Yep.
The movie's over. I do like, I think I like that ending more than them pushing 2 women into a bush more than I like the ending of Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, where it's the bus full.
Yeah, that one just kind of makes me cringe. I don't know why.
I don't know. I don't feel.
Plus, I like pushing people into bushes. No, both are fine, I guess.
Yeah.
The one part I kind of do like at the convention is I like the young inventors, and he's like judging them. Not the one with the peanut butter. That was just cringy. That was dumb.
You're talking about the cancer one.
The cancer one. He's like, can it sing? And he's like, what?
It cures cancer.
And they're like, we can cure world hunger in this. But he's like, but what do we do with all the extra poop? I don't know. I thought that was kind of stupid and fun. I also like the part where they like go into the talk about dark matter. They're just like, okay, nerd.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then he's confessing. He's like, they're right. I don't know. I thought that was kind of fun.
But
I laughed at those parts, I guess. But most of the road trip stuff I didn't think was very good this time around. Yeah, it was worse than the first one, but not as bad as Dumb and Dumberer.
Yeah, I think that it managed to be better than Dumb and Dumberer, but I'll at least give Dumb and Dumberer credit for trying to be its own thing a little.
Yeah, I guess.
But not much credit.
I feel it.
Not enough to bring it up to a different rating.
And the problem with this movie is they're trying to mimic things that just weren't funny.
Yeah, it's a lot of callbacks. Like there's like one scene where they have the iconic sheepdog truck.
Yeah, and then it immediately breaks down. And that was the poster for the film.
Yeah, no, they really milked that image because it's back and it's how you remember it. It's like, yeah.
I was like, no, it's not.
Oh fuck! I forgot to change the poster. No.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Well, here it is. Here's the poster. And maybe it was there the whole time because London's editing that poster.
It will be.
Okay. There you go.
All right. I don't know. What would you give this movie?
Probably like a 2.
Okay. I'm going to give this one a 3. I don't mind it as much as a 2, but I didn't think it was. I thought it was really bad, but I think it's pretty close in quality. Whoa. But yeah, it was a bad day today. No.
Yeah, no.
And next week will probably not be too great either.
Yeah, no. 4 and 5 specifically are like what I remember being like, just like, oh God, please.
So yeah, we're watching the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Yep. So we're watching 1 through 7, which is 1 through 6, and the new Nightmare, which is like,
well, okay,
is it so like a reboot?
So it goes like this: Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, and then Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And
we can do the rest if you want. It's up to you.
You want to roll the die on that?
Sure. What? Evens?
Yeah.
Evens will watch the other 2. Odds will just stick with these.
Yep. I like that.
I'm going to hold this up. Okay, we're just watching the 7.
That's okay, good. We'll save the other 2 for like some other time or something.
Yeah.
We'll cover them eventually. Maybe we'll do an episode where we cover all the Friday the 13th movies at some point.
And then we can watch Friday vs. Jason.
Yeah, we can do like an episode that's like the Friday remake, the Nightmare remake, and then Freddy vs. Jason or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Is Freddy vs. Jason before those 2 remakes?
Yes. If you want to watch that one, I'd be fine with that.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
We'll just do the 7. I'm guessing I'm going to dislike 4 of these, so...
You might dislike more than that, potentially.
I'm going to just hope with all my heart that I don't.
Just go into it with the expectation.
I feel like if we watched all the Friday the 13th movies, I'd probably dislike all of them.
Yeah.
Or at least most of them.
I think... Yeah.
Like, that's the one franchise, that and, like, Hellraiser, I'm like, I don't want to watch all these.
Friday the 13th... I don't know. Like, I don't mind those movies. There are some bad ones that I don't like for sure. But I think like 2, 3, 4 is all right. I think 5's funny. 6 is all right. 7's all right, and then 8, 9 bad. I think 10's funny.
It's 10 Jason X.
Mm-hmm.
I heard 10. And then the reboot.
Then the remake? Freddy vs. Jason, then the reboot.
Jesus Christ. So they never made a 13th Friday the 13th?
No.
Idiots.
The film rights got all fucked up in the last couple of years. So, that's why the video game had to stop, like, releasing new content. Because the legal rights got all fucked up, and there's, like, this big dispute over who actually owns the character Jason.
So do we know right now?
So basically the guy who wrote the screenplay for the first movie owns Jason, so he basically got away with it. So...
Is anything going to happen with him, or is
he said he's open to doing stuff in the future, but to my understanding, anytime anyone's reached out to him, he's been like, no! So maybe it's for the better.
I don't think it's a very good character, so...
It's
just kind of,
We'll see. I think they're more entertaining than the Halloween movies.
Halloween 1's really good. I like Halloween 1.
I think Halloween 1's pretty decent.
Halloween 3's good.
Halloween 3 is, like, of a different...
That's not even a Halloween movie. Or in the same... It's what Halloween should have originally been. I think as an anthology series, it would have worked.
Yeah, I agree.
But... I'll probably watch all of those eventually, too. I don't know. Maybe I'll just watch a bunch of horror franchises this October. Alright. But thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week for fucking Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street.
I was like, whoa, what?
Toodaloo.
Adios.